I'm a nurse. I work in a forensic psychiatric unit, which means people that have a mental illness and have committed a relatively serious or extremely serious crime. And in the ward I work in, we have got a patient that they can't manage anywhere else in New Zealand. How lucky is that? We get her. No pressure, team. and even luckier, I get to be her key worker. So no double pressure of me. And all the eyes of they're all on, so everything you do is being looked over and dozens of people are checking every single thing you do. But I've been doing the tapping. My husband found one of the YouTube videos about 18 months ago for a headache of mine, so I've been using the tapping on various colleagues, and there's two really great stories. One is this woman that came in, I decided I'd just tap on her. I don't call it EFT, Faster EFT. I just call it a relaxation therapy because the doctors will accept that. So I taught her how to do it, and because I'm trying to put the power in her hands, so we're doing all this good stuff. And I came into work one day and she's either very shut down or she's very open. She's got sort of two ways of operating, and she said to me very excitedly, "Never guess what happened, you'll never guess what happened." And this is this nice outgoing patient instead of the one that's cutting, slashing and punching. And I said, "What?" And she said, "Joanna," who's a nurse, she said, "you came to work with toothache." And I said to her, "I can fix that." And I said, "Tell me." And she said, "Well," I said to her, Sue showed me how to do this thing. "Sit down, Joanna." So she's directing the nurse now. The nurse sits down because she's got this toothache. The patient starts tapping on her, shows her how to do it. She says, "Now you do it because the power has to be in your hands so you're not dependent on somebody else." Because I always say monkey see, monkey do, and apparently she said to Joanna, "Monkey see, monkey do." It's like, so here's this nurse being tapped on, and now she's tapping it on herself, and she's going, "Oh God, I haven't got toothache. So that was one story. The patient is teaching the nurses how to tap. So we've had her now for, there's actually dozens of stories, but that's one of my favourites. Now we've had her since July. She's been with us July, August. And I've been trying to creep more of Robert Smith stuff in, and his name's well known in the ward. The doctors have heard of him. I've just been trying to get it in there. But I couldn't get it past the consultants before we came over here, and my husband and I are going to Perth for several months. So I thought, oh, screw it. On my last night, I'm just taking the DVDs. They can all go to hell. So I sit her down in the ICU, which is where she is, and I say, "I've got a special treat for you tonight. The master is in the building." Because she says to me now, "Will you tap on me?" And I go, no, you're tapping on yourself. I'm not, I'm just trying to teach her to let us go, let the staff go and do her own thing. So I said, "The master's in the house, you can watch him." And it was my last night. We're having a shared meal because I'm away for 4 or 5 months or whatever. So she's in ICU. She's the only patient in ICU, and luckily she's in a really good zone because she says to me, "I'm going to be really good for your last 3 weeks so you'll come back." She said, she's very naughty, but she's very likeable. So she's in this really good space. So I thought, okay, so slam the DVD on. Don't ask anybody. I put it on and I said to her, "I haven't cleared this with your consultant. You just let her know that this is what you wanted to watch it." And she says, "Yes, I can lie with the best of them." So it goes on. So the DVD's on, and I'm going in and out, and there's one other nurse sitting in there supervising her because she does a lot of naughty things when she's unsupervised. And I said to one of the other nurses, "Oh, Robert Smith's on in ICU." And they went, "What?" I said, "Go and have a quick look." So they went off. I'm going backwards and forwards around the ward, doing things. It was like a dinner party in an ICU. It was the weirdest night, but everything went great. I go back into ICU to make sure it's right, and there's Marion, the patient, sitting there in her non-rippable stitch blanket nightie. She can hardly move in like this. And surrounding her are these 4 nurses like this, just staring at the screen, and one leaning over there. And I went, "I look like this, look like this." I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Shh, we're watching Robert Smith." And I went, "Hey, well, I'm the one to thank here, thank you." But they're all absolutely dazzled, and now I've actually asked the consultant there I asked them about 2 months ago about if they'd entertain the notion of Robert tapping on this lady, because she's costing, what do you reckon, Kurt, 3,000 or 4,000 a day? Between 3 and 5, depending on how terribly badly she behaves. So if they just take a chunk of that money and bring it up this end and give it to Robert, we could have a healed patient. But it's very difficult to try and bring mainstream people over. So at the moment, I because I was going and they couldn't give me any grief. I just dropped off 10 DVDs at the hospital and said, these are for Marion, and a couple of staff members who I know need it. These are for Marion to watch while I'm away. I promised I'll drop them off. So when they find out, there's nobody to dump on because I'm gone. And by then she will have seen them all. And she's determined to see Robert, but she said, I want to see this man, and I want to see him, so I want to see him. And I said, okay, well, what you need to do is convince your parents and the consultants. So they've got all the details, so hopefully you'll get a call. That's my story. Thank you.